midnight on May 14, 1948, Jews celebrated the birth of their new nation, their Declaration of Independence. The government of Israel proclaimed and established the first Jewish state in 2 millenniums as the British colonial rule comes to an end. For many centuries prior to their independence, Jews historically lived in exile. Many fled to Mesopotamia, which is modern Iraq. Others fled to southeastern Spain, southern France, southern Italy, Greece, Cyprus, and Turkey. Over time, Jews migrated to Belgium, Holland, Germany, Austria, and parts of northern Africa such as Egypt, Libya, Algeria, and Morocco. Without a permanent homeland for the Jewish diaspora, they became lost and displaced as a nation. This all changed in 1948. Their permanent home became Palestine, which is located on the west coast of the Mediterranean Sea. Palestinians, who are the Arab population that hails from the same land Israel now controls, refer to the territory as Palestine. The Palestinians want to establish a state by the name on all or part of the same land, hence the reason for their current conflict. To keep this simple, the Israel and Palestinian conflict is rooted from both nations wanting what they believe is inherently theirs, and that is their own land. This is coupled with a long history of political, cultural, and religious factors. The origin of the relation can be tracked back to the late 19th century, when the Ottoman Turkish Empire ruled between 1299 and 1922. So let's get some understanding. Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Palestine, as it is known today, did not exist as distinct geographic units. All were territories of the Ottoman Empire between 1516 to 1918, and all had pockets of communities who were subjects of that empire. The empire started from a tribe known as the Ottomans, arising from northwestern Anatolia after 1071. Anatolia today constitutes as the Asian portion of Turkey. The empire was dominated by the Turks, but also included Arabs, Kurds, Greeks, Armenians, and other ethnic minorities. The Ottoman Turkish dynasty was named after Turkish Muslim tribe leader Osman Gazi, who was credited for the expansion of the entire empire. By 1326, Bursa, Turkey was the capital and considered the first capital of the Ottoman Empire. Through both warfare and diplomacy, Gazi was able to unify inherited and captured lands under his rule. Gazi also died in 1326 after having led the foundation for an empire that would dissolve in 1918. The Ottoman Turkish Empire was historically controlled by the Islamic chief rulers, with more privileged rights and powers, but also contained non-Muslims, such as Christians, Jews, and other religious minorities. During this period of time in this region, non-Muslim people were considered a lesser nation and were subject to a system of what we call today as institutional racism. Christians and Jews in the world of Islam were considered tolerated and was denied political and cultural rights. Both were obligated to wear clothing in specific colors, and many limitations were placed on how they lived, including where they worshipped. Nonetheless, the Ottoman Empire was one of the few places in the world where Jews could live freely. When Jews were expelled by the Duke of Bavaria, Louis IX, in 1470, by 1492, tens of thousands of Sephardic Jews had escaped from Spain to the Ottoman Empire. Jews also arrived from Italy and Portugal. Starting in the 1600s, the Ottoman Empire began to lose its economic and military dominance over Europe. Poor leadership and competing in the trade market were factors with the weakening of the empire. At the height of the empire from 1516 to 1917, they ruled a large portion of the Middle East, occupied by Iraq, Syria, Israel, and Egypt, also North Africa as far west as Algeria. They had also conquered most of southeastern Europe, including present-day Hungary, the Balkan region, Greece, and parts of Ukraine. A mass migration of Jews known as the First Aliyah occurred between 1882 and 1903, essentially doubling the region's Jewish population at the time. You see, after the empire's slow decline between 1917 and 1922, the region came under power by the British rule. At their height between World War I and World War II, Britain reigned supreme. Their supremacy was almost unchallenged either by other powers or by the indigenous forces. While the British was in power, their government had given assurances to a Zionist movement and ideology aimed at establishing a Jewish state in Palestine. This decision resulted in a domino effect that has caused the ongoing political conflict to this present day.